All right, Ayabumi Moore, how are you doing this morning?
I am excited. I am fired up, and I'm ready to hear what you got to tell us today.
Awesome. It sounds that your voice sounds like mine. It sounds like you've just about lost it this week.
Absolutely.
I understand. I understand. Ayabumi Moore, always a privilege, always a pleasure to have the opportunity to start my webinar after having my dose of excitement and positive personal development with you in the mornings, afternoons, and evenings. So thank you so much for that, Ayabumi Moore. Really says a lot about who you are, your leadership here, and we are so grateful to have you and to have the opportunity to work with you. So thank you so much. Now, Ayabumur, I think we also have another guest that's going to be out here joining us here today. Dave Kineski. Dave, are you out there?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, Dave. Great to have you out here. Now, Dave, this is going to be the first of many calls that you and I do together that are really focused on actual marketing. We're really going to be focusing on marketing training, helping everybody know exactly what they need to do. Now, just real quick, for those of you that maybe this is your first live call of the week and want to just quickly update you on a couple of points, and then Dave, you and I are going to jump right in. We're going to do some marketing. On Tuesday night of this week, folks, we really began the process of setting a tone for our company's path forward as being one of a very compliant company. A company that is here for the long haul, a company whose mission and vision is to continue day in and day out to provide you, all of you, with the opportunity to have a long-term company so that you're not starting over constantly. We want to be a company that you can be proud to be a part of, and we want to be a company that's going to be here for a long time. So the Tuesday night call, if you missed it, is recorded. It's under the Monday night area, which I'm going to show everybody here where that is in just a second. But if you missed that call, if for any reason you did not get access to that call, Dave and I are going to do marketing training here today, but it's very important to me that all of you take the time to make sure that you get in front of that information. Let me see if I can take you over there right now, because there's actually a couple of different things that I want you to pay attention to. One is, and this is of course really important, but one thing that I want you to be able to see is, let me show you right over here. So let me show my screen, and this is where I want you to focus on. So again, we're going to spend today's call on marketing, but I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity under my account. See where it says qualification score? I want you to click there, and there are going to be two webinars there, really important. There's going to be two webinars on that page. One is a replay of last Tuesday night's call, and the other webinar that I want you to watch, if you go back to the home page, is if you go back to the home page, I want you to click right over here to Monday Night Update Webinars, and you will see that there's one right here that says, it's kind of hard to get to, but it's the one that says from 5:31. That is a webinar that I did on Friday, May 31st, and on that webinar, it is a strong follow-up to our Tuesday webinar, updating everybody on some grace periods that we've put in place, and really kind of setting the tone for where we're headed as a company. That was a powerful call, and one that I want to make sure that everybody has access to. So those two calls are really going to help you get caught up. Now, what Dave and I are going to be doing, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. We've had a lot of things happening here in terms of implementing quality score and making sure that we are, getting everyone on the right page in terms of compliance. But Dave, you and I have been talking about the one thing that people need more than anything else in this industry is really marketing training. They really need that. And so we've talked about doing the daily builder call, because Dave, we have all these people who want to go out and do step by step what it takes to build a business, but they just need somebody to take them by the hand and show them how to do that. So you and I have made the commitment, Dave, to actually take the time to really focus in on behalf of all of our members and walk them through the different areas. We're going to start today, obviously, by talking about any updates that you've got. I know you've heard from some people about what we're doing in terms of compliance that gets you pretty excited. But we also want to start talking about what is CV, what is customer volume, and then ultimately how does our system help people get to customer volume and what do they need to do to make sure that they have it, etc. So we've got some things. Now we'll start to weave some marketing solutions around that, and we're going to answer questions as well. So, listen, you've been helping the support team this week, Dave, and you're one of our top income earners here. You're one of the best marketers that I know, and at the same time, you've been willing to really, step up in a team role and really help everybody at the support desk here, especially this last week. And I want to say thank you for that. But what's the mood out there, Dave? What are people saying? How are people feeling about the changes that we're making?
Yeah, Jay Josh, I was just listening to you talk, and I think the number one thing that I've been getting for the last 30 days in support tickets and talking to people through Skype and talking to people on the phone that are on my team and my downline, just everyone out there, is I think that people are craving this training that we're talking about. And when we announced it a few weeks back, I've literally had hundreds of tickets asking, when are we going to do the daily business calls? I've had hundreds of phone calls asking for this information, and I think there's a reason why. I've done network marketing for 25 years. I've never really had a full-time job. I've really done everything through my marketing efforts, and I've been in Amway and USANA and just a bunch of different companies over the years. And the one thing that I always was frustrated with is they always said, okay, sign up. You get in, you sign up, and your upline's supposed to train you. And we've probably all had that experience where our uplines disappeared, and we never really had that support or that training. And we never had professional marketing material. We never had anything that could help us. So I know for sure, and I've seen some of the stuff that you've put together over the last month, Jay Josh, and I got to tell you, the stuff that I've done over the years is probably looks like a kindergartner did with crayons compared to what you've put together. But I just remember almost every program I've been in, I've been the one trying to put together that marketing system and trying to put together collaterals and brochures and different just things that we can use to get the word out. And so it's just been a void, I feel, in this industry. And when you and I started talking about training people, my gosh, I got excited. I know my team's excited about that because I think so many people are craving that knowledge. We don't know what Jay Joshua knows. We don't know how to go out there and take a company and generate business and generate revenue and grow that company. And the stuff that you and I have talked about over the last few months, that basically what you're an expert at, what you've made a living at, and what you're a professional at. So I am so excited to get that. And the interesting thing about that is, from what you've told me, you're not going to charge $1,000 for a workshop. You're not going to charge $500 for this. You're going to give it to every person that's in JubiRev, Jubi Max, as a gift, just for joining with us, just for being part of our group, part of our team. So I'm looking at this, and we've talked about Jubi Max, Jubi Rev is going to be here for the next 20 years, and you're putting those things in place for compliance, and I'll get to that in a second because we've got a lot of excited people about what you're doing there. As a matter of fact, I sent you a quote, and I'll read this quote to you. I sent you a very positive thing in your Skype. I don't know if you read it or not, but what you're doing is you're going to make us all professional network marketers. You're going to teach us how to market on the internet, and a year from now, every single person in JubiMax, Jubi Rev, I believe, will be the best of the best. We'll be able to take that skill set that you've taught us and take it anywhere to any company and be a success. And that, to me, you always hear the saying, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man a fish, feed him for a lifetime. And what you're offering right now, I know my team is very, very excited about. I know I personally, even though I've made a full-time living, gosh, I feel like I only know 10% of what I need to know. I really feel like I've always felt like there's a void, and that gosh, I'm missing something. What does Jay Joshua know that I don't know? And the fact you're willing to teach that to us is just, I really appreciate that. And I want to thank you for that. And then to answer your other question, let me just read some, just one comment somebody made. I've gotten, I know you had said in the last few calls that, the webinars you've done, that you had a few negative people, and there's been a few, I think you called them red, people that were kind of angry, and I get that. Anytime you make change, we're going to have that. That's just part of anytime you have any kind of change, whether that change is good or bad, some people are just not going to like it. But let me read this to you. Really, really interesting. And this is the sentiment, Jay Josh, I'm getting from everybody. Okay, this is really for Mr. Bissell. I'm reading a support ticket I got this morning. Sir, I applaud the steps you have taken to put Jubi on a firm footing. I was concerned that the company was not producing enough customer revenue to sustain itself. Samuel Gompers, I guess that's how you say his name, Samuel Gompers, a great labor leader, said the worst thing a company could do to its workers was fail to make a profit. While we independent promoters are not employees of the company, we have a vital interest in making Jubi profitable. I appreciate your efforts to this end. And then he signs his name. And Jay Joshua, I want to tell you, I've literally had, between phone calls, Skype, and support tickets, hundreds, literally hundreds of calls and tickets that echo the same sentiment. And people are really applauding what you're doing, and we really appreciate you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you, sir.
Well, Dave, look, I really, really appreciate it. And so I've organized a couple of points here for this webinar because we know that we're not going to be able to teach all of this in one sit down. I mean, there's a reason why when you're in school you have class for, an hour, 45 minutes, and when you get to college sometimes you have class for an hour and a half, but it's really difficult for anybody to sit down and spend 10 hours going through training. Now, here's what we've done. We've organized it this way. For all of you as independent promoters of JubiRev, Jubi Max, you have several goals, and I want you to grab a pen and paper. If you're a stay-at-home mom or if you're at home with the kids right now, just go ahead and grab a napkin and a crayon. That also works. Okay, but when you look at your business, I want to give you a couple of quick things that will allow you to kind of have a guide for what it is you need to do to really be successful in your business. And we've got a lot of training, and so I really believe that for those of you that have the time to join Dave and I on these calls on a regular basis, whether you can do so live or via recording, you're really going to take your marketing skill set up, and you're really going to maximize your ability to go out and build a business. But the first thing that I'm going to tell you that you need to do in order to be successful in business, number one, is that you have got to become a product of the product. For all of you out here on today's call, you really have got to understand that what stops you from success with a business, again, we're only looking at this from the entrepreneurial aspects here today, but what stops you from success more than anything else is yourself. You must work diligently to raise your internal belief about what you're doing. Let me give you an example, folks. If you're driving around in a fire truck and all you got to do is push a button and it will shoot water in any direction you tell it to, and you're driving down the street slowly headed for the grocery store and you see a house on fire, all you'd have to do is press a button and you could start spraying water on that house. You can call 911, get some professionals on the job, and everything is great. In that example, although I don't know why anybody would be driving a fire truck on the way to the grocery store, I'm going to have to think about that one. But in that example, you pressed the button to spray water on the fire because you knew what to do. You knew exactly what to do. It was very, very simple. You didn't have to really even think about it. You just pressed a button. Now, in that example, you weren't limited by any physical issues. You didn't have to worry about, hey, can I carry the hose that far up to the house and get it in? You didn't have to worry about any risk to yourself as a person. You didn't have to say, hey, I don't have the right protective gear. How close to the house can I get spraying this water? All you had to do was press a button. Because in that example, the first step begins with absolute belief that you know what to do. So one of the most important things that you can empower yourselves with as an entrepreneur, especially somebody who is marketing products and services, is knowing 100% what to do, and that what you're doing is in line with your personal beliefs. That's why the very first step in building a business is to do what? It is very simply to become a product of the product. Okay? Very, very important. You must become a product of the product. Now, we have a lot of different products here at JubiRev, Jubi Max. We have a lot. Some people have even said, hey, when other companies launch, they launch with one company to one, they launch with one product to one country. We've launched 10 plus products to over 100 different countries. And you're right, it's a lot. Now, we've got to work together as a team, and all of you need to be focused on asking the right questions to make sure that you get answers about the products and services. So if you've got a question, you want to know, hey, the Jubi Max Natural, that's a really sweet tasting product. What's the psychology behind having that Jubi Max Natural be a very sweet tasting product? I've had a couple of health buffs who are really fit people say, that Jubi Max Natural tastes a little too sweet. And there's a reason why I made that product sweet. It's because I want people who have a sweet tooth, okay, who have been conditioned to drink soda and all these other things that we drink in our daily life that are really sweet. I want them to really reach out for that Jubi Max Natural Shake because it's a tasty treat. I want them to feel like that Jubi Max Natural Shake just is the best part of their day. I want them to think it's a dessert between meals. Now, are there going to be other variations of our Jubi Max Natural Shake? Another great question we'll be talking about. But there's a reason why that Jubi Max Natural Shake is sweet. And that's why the very first step that I want everybody to take is to become a product of the product. Some of you are like, hey, look, I'm not really into the weight loss. Okay, great. Let's talk about the beauty line. Some of you are like, well, hey, I'm not really into the beauty line. Well, let's talk about the travel membership. I mean, why don't you get in if you own Jubi Vacations? Why don't you slide on in there? Why don't you put yourself in a position where you can actually slide on in and start planning your next vacation? You see, there's a place right in there where you can literally go in and start dream shopping for your next vacation, okay? Which I think is really, really important. Now, for those of you who maybe say, okay, well, I don't know about that one. Well, we've got coffee coming. We've got all these other products. We want you to try the products and begin to understand the benefits of the products so that you can talk about them. The very best thing you can do to grow your business from a marketing perspective is to become a product of the product, to know what the products do and what the product benefits are. One of the things that I teach, and I'll do this really quickly so we can jump in. I got a lot of points I want to cover today. One of the things that I want to talk about is the difference between a feature and a benefit. Because I want everyone to understand that features describe the mechanical makeup of a product or service, but not the reasons why people buy them. You see, a feature of the Jubi Max Natural, okay, one of the features of that product might be the ingredients, and it might be this or it might be that. But the benefits of the product, the reason why people really buy it, is because it's a product that can help you with your weight loss and overall health goals. One of the other benefits of the product is that it's not soy-based. A lot of people have health concerns about soy. I'm not a doctor. I can't weigh in on whether or not you should have any health concerns about eating or ingesting too much soy, but I can tell you that our product is soy-free. We get our protein from natural brown rice. We get our protein from peas. We get our protein from chia seed. Okay, so but those become really features and less about the benefits. The benefit is, what does the person who's going to use the product get? And so when you start to think about the products and you're using the product and you consider the results, here's what you want to think about. Oh, wow, this tastes really good. Oh, wow, I'm losing weight. In fact, a lot of you are starting to develop your own personal testimonial about the products. I got people weighing in saying, hey, my mom lost 40 pounds. My mom lost, 7 pounds. Got a lady lives nearby and used to work for me here in my offices in Phoenix, and so she was with me in another weight loss program, kind of fell off, and she came over to me about a month ago, and she wanted to talk about maybe getting back on, and I said, well, let me tell you, I got a new product line. I want you to try it. She's lost 1 inch on the product. I let her try the product for 1 month. She's lost 1 inch, and now she wants to get on the whole weight loss product line. Okay. So the first thing you've got to be able to do is you've got to become a product of the product, okay? Because if you become a product of the product, you position yourself to have an opportunity to maximize your own internal belief mechanisms. And one of the things that people will always tell you is that if you want to be successful, you've got to have all these tools. And to some extent, there are some tools you probably need to have to be successful. But the most important tool that all of us have when it comes to marketing, sales, success, entrepreneurialism is our brain. It's us. We are the most important tool. And so it's important that you empower that tool with absolute belief. And the only way to do that is through experiences. You need to experience the products and develop your own personal testimony. The next thing that you need to be able to do is you need to make a strong commitment to attend as many company events and functions and calls as you possibly can. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be on every opportunity call unless you're bringing a guest, but it does mean that you need to make a regular scheduled commitment to plug into company events and functions. You got to become a product of the product, and you've got to plug in to what's happening in the team environment. Now, and again, we're just doing the short version here today, so I'm gonna move through parts of this fairly quickly. But the next thing that you want to be able to understand, folks, is that you've got to begin to share the products and services. So when you start a home-based business, when you want to become an entrepreneur, you need to become a product of the product. And a lot of people have said, hey, Josh, but the weight loss, I can't do the weight loss. I had a guy say, hey, listen, Josh, I'm a skinny guy. I can't really enjoy the weight loss, and I can't really enjoy the beauty products. And I said, that's okay. We can plan a vacation. But even more to the point, do you have some people in your life, friends, family, relatives, neighbors, who need to lose 10 or 15 pounds? Oh, yeah, I got a lot of those. And I said, well, one of the best ways you can become a product of the product is find somebody that you love closely and get this product in their hands and go through that and live that experience of this product working for them. That will also imbue the belief within your mind that the products and services work. Okay? Now, once you are focused on becoming a product of the product and you begin plugging in so that you can become, trained and educated and inspired, so that you can keep your paradigm up, so that you can join Ayabumi more on the front side of the calls, listening to her awesome Empower Me Now moments, then you're moving in the right direction. The next thing that you've got to be able to understand is the word share, S-H-A-R-E. Make no mistake about it, that your job as an entrepreneur to move products and services into the marketplace is to share the products and services. Now, what Dave mentioned in his reading there from the support ticket he had received is absolutely true. A company has a responsibility to itself and to its people to make sure that it is a profitable company, because only profitable companies can grow and can serve their customers and can make sure that their independent promoters and employees are getting paid. Simple as that. The way that this business sustains itself is with customers. It is absolutely, unequivocally, absolutely customers. Always has been. And some people I actually got an email from a guy who, Dave, I'm not kidding, he actually sent me, J. Joshua Beisel, an email, and he said, I want a refund because you have changed this company. And effectively, he wanted this company to be like a money game. And, I really thought about giving a very long reply, one that was fairly passionate and maybe not very flattering. But the reality of it is, folks, if we were going to be a money game, why would we have developed all of these products? We could have just slapped up a digital delivery product up there. We could have all made a ton of money for about 8 weeks, and then we would have shut down, and then the owners would have disappeared, and then you'd be left with nothing. Oh, wait, that was another company. The point being that we've always been a customer-centric, product-centric company. Otherwise, we wouldn't have developed all these products. Otherwise, we wouldn't be developing the coffee line and several other product lines that we've already now agreed that we're doing, which are really awesome, I got to tell you. So where do you fit into that? A lot of people say, well, hey, listen, I'm not really a power recruiter, and I'm not really a great salesperson. Where do I fit into that? Well, let's talk about this, because what I want to do in my job here is help you actually succeed by going back to the most basic parts of your humanity. The reality of it is that if I can help all of you make money doing a little bit of what you're already doing every day, then we're just redirecting your energies in a way that give you the ability to make money. Okay? If I said to all of you, hey, you got to go spend 8 years and go to college, and then you've got to go and do this, and you got to go and do that, and then I put this big obstacle in between you and making money, most of you are not going to be in a position to be able to do that. And most of you barely have time to put 3 or 4 or 5 hours a week into learning your business, participating in company events and functions, etc., let alone having to go out into the world and try to find a way to move your products and services in a way that's actually going to work. So the solution is very simply this. We want to help you share the products and services in the most natural way that you're already doing and living your life anyway. Once you've developed your own personal testimony on the products and services, all you need to do is share. Now, JubiMax is very special because JubiMax has built into itself the culture and the idea that sharing is caring, and the idea that if you can let people try the product before they have to pull out their credit card, that you're going to maximize your position to be able to get them to buy those products and services. So sharing means telling people about the benefits that you're already getting from the products. Sharing means making recommendations when you hear people say things like, oh, I need to get on a new diet, I need to lose some weight. Really? Well, let me share with you something that I know about. And then, of course, we've got the sampling. We've got the ability for you to go to people and say, hey, listen, I'm so confident that my products and services will help you get this result that you're looking for. My company's got a way for you to actually try those for free. Now, if I can honestly show you a way to get that result and try it for free, would that be worth a few minutes of your time to find out how to get that done? And if they say yes, then you can sit down with them and let them try the product for free. And then you can simply say, now listen, the only catch is really twofold. One is that in about 3 weeks, I want to make sure I'm following up with you to find out what positive result that you're getting. And of course, you actually want to follow up with them in about a week and make sure they haven't forgot to take the product, right? Because they're not going to get a result if they don't use it. But you want to follow up with them and collect their story. You say, hey, listen, if you have a good result, would you be willing to give me a written testimonial saying, hey, these products are good? Yeah. If the products work for you, would you consider buying them? Well, absolutely. So that's how you share the product. Now, we're going to get into much more detail on that as we go through this training series, but that's kind of the basics. The other thing that we have is a grand opening letter. Okay, the grand opening letter is really, really important because the grand opening letter can, which we're going to be adding in here, we're going to be doing some training on that. The grand opening letter, it will actually allow you to know exactly what to say in written format, whether by email or physical mail, to let people that you know, friends, family, whatever the case may be, you can let people know, hey, look, you know, I've started a new business. Here's the benefits of the products. And if you want to try them, I'm having a grand opening, and I'm actually willing to let you try some of these products for free. Here's how you get in touch with me, and we can talk a little bit more about it. And then down on the PS, it says, oh, by the way, our company is expanding in your area, and if you know anyone in your area who might be interested in making some additional part-time income from home, please be sure to have them get in touch with me. Okay? So this is a really, really powerful marketing system. Now, what I've done is, because we didn't have a lot of time here today, we got a lot of things going on, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and JubiMax won't be built in a week, that's for sure. But what I want all of you to be able to see is where you can get information on the grand opening letter, and where you can get more information on, you know, just some of the basic training that we're talking about here. And if you log in and you go to promoter videos, let me make sure that's showing on my screen. If you log in and you go to promoter videos, down at the bottom, do you see where it says the Legend Pack? Does everybody see that? That is an inspirational look at a vision that I had for, which ultimately turned into JubiMax. It's been a long, curvy road to get here, but that was my definite purpose more than 1 year ago. So that was my definite purpose more than 1 year ago. And when I put that together, that was my highest rated training program ever. When you watch that, it kind of tells you right through there what to do. At the conclusion of that webinar, you can get access to several $1,000s worth of training and resources that I've put together over the years. There's special instructions inside of that video. But you want to make sure that you carve out some time the next time that you have to work on your business, and you need to watch the Legend Pack. And one of the resources in there is the Grand Opening Letter System and several other things, which, by the way, we are going to be making available inside JubiMax at some point. So this is just a quick fix for those of you that want to get a fast start. Okay. Now, number 4, this is really important. This is where we're going to set the tone here to get into some things that all of you need. So number 1, you got to become a product of the product. You've got to do the things that instill maximum belief within your body that you know what to do and that what you're doing is good. Number 2, you've got to be able to plug in, attend company events and functions. You've got to become a product of the system as well. You've got to be here to learn, to hear from Dave, to hear from T. Lamont, to hear from myself, to hear from Jeff White, to hear from other leaders that are going to be coming out. Now, number 3, you've got to have a share mentality. You've got to have a share mentality, and you've got to take action, because this is all about sharing products and services, which brings me to number 4. Number 4 is, how do you correctly use JubiBucks and sampling? Just so everybody knows where this call is going. Okay, how do you effectively use JubiBucks and sampling? And number 5 is, how do you get CV? How do you get real customer volume? Because as we go through this, we quickly find ourselves in a position when we quickly find ourselves in a position to see, hey, this business works, I can work this business. Okay, 5 simple steps here. Number 4, JubiBucks and samples. Let me explain to all of you why I chose to do JubiBucks and why I believe that virtual sampling and physical sampling of products and services is so important. And I know you've heard me say this time and time again, but I have to repeat this for you. I just can't go on in this call if I don't say this to you. That today's marketplace is so fractured. What do I mean by that? I mean, it is absolutely impossible in today's world to get a prospect's attention. Okay, driving down the road, we got high definition billboards on the side of the road. It's like watching a movie while I'm driving down the road. I don't know how that's even safe. You're watching the TV, you got commercials popping up. I'm watching the news, and they got ads popping up while I'm watching television on the news. Okay, I got a little smartphone here, and I'm on the smartphone, and I'm getting ads on it while I'm watching TV at the same time. There's a million bits of sensory input out there, folks. And companies are trying to figure it out, and a lot of them haven't realized it yet, but soon they will, that traditional advertising doesn't work. It doesn't pay, because it's harder and harder and harder to spend the money to get a message that's going to get to enough people, because people have their focus split across many devices over many different networks. That's why I believe that network marketing is not only a viable part of our economy, but an essential one globally. Because fine quality products and services are not always going to be purchased off the shelves. Customers and consumers have to be educated as to why those products are better than their alternatives. And network marketing provides the most affordable, deep penetrating marketing available for any price. You see, through network marketing, I can pay each and every one of you here on this call a lot of money to help me go out and get customers, because A, you can get the job done by explaining to your prospects and your customers what the products really do, so you can get the job done and you want to get paid, and I get a higher return on my investment paying my independent promoters as a company than I would paying Fox News or a television studio or even online these days to run an ad. So network marketing is not just viable, it is essential. The concept of sampling works very simply. It blends the internet marketing world with the physical marketing world, and it empowers the independent promoter with the ability to overcome the prospect's number one and number two problems. I usually only talk about number one, but I'm going to talk about both. The two problems a prospect has is being able to focus on the offer and the skepticism that the promises that you make about the products and services will even work. And so you remove all of that. You say, hey, look, don't look over there. Look over here at me. I know you, or I've met you, or here I am. I'm a real person. We can dialogue. We can Facebook chat. We can do this. We can do that. You've added that human element into the marketing by being able to create and maintain and build a relationship with that prospect. Focus on me. I want to talk to you about this. And then you've also said, hey, listen, you're probably a little bit skeptical whether or not you're going to love these products and services. I'm so confident you're going to love these products and services that I'm willing to let you try them for free. That is infinitely more powerful than you saying, hey, listen, I'm so confident you'll love these products and services. Spend $100 with me and you're going to be happy. So that's where that culture comes in. So those of you that are saying questions like, okay, Josh, how does this training relate to my quality score? Well, it relates to your quality score this way. We have to make Jubi points be what is rewarded for you taking action that is going to further your business and further our business. We've had far too many people, and if you weren't part of this, or if you were mistakenly a part of this, or if this happened on accident for you, that's okay. There's no judgment. We just got to move forward as a team. But we have far too many people who were using the system to get Jubi points, but the company didn't get anything out of it. If you took Jubi bucks and you basically gave them to a fake name at your past address so that you could hurry up and get your Jubi points, that didn't help this company grow. That didn't bring any revenue into our system to share with any of you. And so for those of you who did that, whether you meant to or not, the reality of it is if we're using Jubi bucks or any of our tools or resources or energies towards anything other than ultimately getting customers, getting product moved into the marketplace, then we're not helping the company have revenue to share. Okay? So what we've got to be able to do is we've got to be able to adjust everyone's paradigm as to what actions they take that get how many Jubi points. And we started that conversation on Tuesday night with Quality Score. I thought it was a great conversation. We had several days of dialogue. People know I'm serious. We've added a grace period on Quality Score so that nobody feels like we've been unfair. And now we got to make sure that all of you going forward understand, okay, well, that Jay Joshua, he's pretty darn serious about making sure that if I'm earning points on something, it's because I did something that's going to grow my business and help that business grow, which ultimately is one thing, which means all of your actions have to be moving towards getting customer volume. So real quick, how do you get your quality score up? It's very simple. You've got to make sure people are actually getting product shipped to them. You've got to make sure that they're actually having an opportunity to try the product and that you're following up with those people. Why? Because if you let people try our products and services, you are going to get customers. That's a fact. We have amazing products and services. We have products and services that are better than what they're going to be able to get elsewhere. And they can build a relationship with you. And you sometimes are the missing ingredient to success. So here's what this means. This means that quality score is achieved by what? By taking the actions to go out and do the things that build your business and build our business, which is getting product in people's hands and helping yourself and your business organization and our company get customer volume, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. Going forward, one of the things that we're working on is restructuring how people get points so that it is easier to understand. So if you get somebody who just opts into your site, you might get a couple of points. If you get somebody who pays for shipping, you get way more points. If you want to help pay for shipping, there's got to be a quality control method in there so that, we know that there's a meeting of the minds and people were hoping for that product shipping. But here's where it really comes down to. There's got to be, like, after that, a one-time only offer or a special incentive for them to say, okay, hey, I'm willing to try a $60 worth of that weight loss product. And then you might say, now listen, I'm going to send you out this Jubi Max Natural 1 month supply absolutely for free. But But while we're at it, I really want to encourage you to try the Jubi Max Slim. Now, the Jubi Max Slim is primarily an appetite suppressant. It's going to help you when you've got cravings during the day, because one of the things that we know that we got to do is we got to stop overeating if we want to lose weight. So the Jubi Max Natural is going to help make sure that your body's getting its nutrition. You can have 1 to 2 shakes a day, followed up by a sensible meal in the evening. But you know, sometimes you just got those late night hunger pains or those midday snack pains. I really want to recommend the Jubi Max Slim. Okay. Now you don't have to say all that. You could actually do it by email. We're going to have pages that are going to help you do it. Marketing is going to help you do it. And what we want the person to do is say, hey, look, you've got 60 Jubi bucks that you can spend. The Jubi Max Natural is around 60 bucks, whatever the case is. And if you want to just add the Slim, you could get the Jubi Max Natural and the Slim for $99.99 and apply your 60 Jubi bucks. And when you can get them to pull out their credit card and pay for that difference, that's when I want you to understand you've just received customer volume. When customers use their credit card to buy products and services from JubiMax.com, not shipping, folks. Shipping doesn't count. Shipping's not a product. We don't make commissions on shipping. When they pull out their credit card and they spend their money on products and services, that creates customer volume. Now, here's the thing. That customer volume is a requirement for all of you to earn commissions after your 60-day grace period. So let's say Sally enrolls Tom. Tom gets started at JubiMax. Tom is learning how it works. He's using the products and services himself. He's becoming a product of the product. He's plugging into the system. He's doing these types of things. And then here's what happens. He begins to share. People are accepting samples of the product. We're shipping product out to people. People are using the products and services. He's earning some points. One of the things Tom has to achieve within his first 60 days is he's got to get at least one customer who is actually creating some what we call customer volume, which is money being spent by somebody who's not part of our compensation plan over at JubiMax.com. Now, if he doesn't get it on the 61st day, it doesn't mean all is lost. It just means he might go a few days or a few weeks. His system will still be there. His points will still be there, but he won't be able to earn on them until he has his customer volume in place. Now, that's the minimum requirement. Obviously, we want to help make sure that Tom can go out and get way more than just one customer, right? Because the goal of our company, the goal of everything we're doing here is to go get more customers. And those of you who enjoy the daily leadership bonus, you got to understand we pay that out based on revenue. Got to have revenue. Where does revenue come from? Revenue comes from customers. That's how that works. So these 5 simple steps really begin our training that Dave and I are going to be doing, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of different parts of it. I just want to quickly summarize, and I'm going to turn this over to Dave to let him ask me some questions and kind of go from there. But again, rule number 1, folks, become a product of the product. We have amazing products and services here. You know, I had a lady tell me the other day, hey, one of the labels on her product was crimped when she got it, and it didn't look great. Hey, let us know. You know, send it in, hey, this is not a complaint, just an observation, you know, blah, blah, blah happened, because obviously if we all work together and focus, we're going to make our products look great. We're going to make sure that our products really represent who we are as a group and as a team, and we're going to have the best darn products we can absolutely get. So become a product of the product. Develop your own personal testimony. So you've got something to tell people, hey, I lost 10 pounds on Jubi Max Natural. These products worked. Why? Because it's really your own internal belief mechanism. The number 1 difference between people who win in sports and people who don't are that the winners believed absolutely before the race that they were going to be the winner. I'm not saying that belief without skill or that belief without action will ever give you a result. But what I am telling you is that belief will magnify skill. Belief will magnify action. And sometimes belief on its own will get you more than halfway there. You've got to become a product of the product, folks. You've got to plug in. You know, I get a lot of people say, hey, I haven't been out to the calls for a couple of weeks. We understand life can get in the way. And you're an independent promoter. You're an entrepreneur. You have time freedom. You have control of your schedule. It's okay with me if you're not here for a few weeks. But sometimes if you don't prioritize things correctly, you'll end up spending all your time elsewhere and not where it needs to be, which is on your business, if that's what you need to have in order to create the financial freedom and time freedom you need. And then share. We have a share culture here, folks. We have a sharing culture. We believe that if people can try our products, we believe that if you can build a relationship with and educate people about our products and services, if you're out sharing the products and services, you're going to maximize your potential of success. And we have the grand opening letter, which you can go find out over here, going to the Legend Pack. Watch that. That's my highest rated training call of all time. Okay? Very, very important. And then we've got the Jubi Bucks. We've got the ability for you to go out and sample products and services. We've got this real blend of internet marketing and network marketing. It's a fantastic system. But a lot of times, and Dave, this is one of the things I'm going to ask you about in about 60 seconds here, 90 seconds. One of the things that I know that Dave has been talking with people about is, hey, listen, if you got somebody that you know is going to buy the product from you anyway, you don't have to give them the product for free. I mean, that's going to help your quality score, but it's also going to suck up your Jubi bucks, and you're not going to get the customer volume from it. And what I've been hearing from people saying is, is it okay, Josh, if I tell people that I'll meet them halfway because I got 3 or 4 of my neighbors and I like them and I want to prove to them that these products work, but he never returned my shovel, so I don't want to just give him the products. Can I meet him halfway? And I tell you what, if he wants to buy the Jubi Max Natural, I'll give him 30 Jubi bucks, and he can pay for the other 30 himself. Absolutely. Because now what happened is that you gave away 30 Jubi bucks. Your quality score is 100% on those bucks. That starts to bring up your overall quality score. We're moving products and services into the marketplace, and what happened? You've got 30 CV. Of course, I don't think the Jubi Max Natural is actually 60, but the point being that, folks, you can use Jubi bucks to incentivize people to get in and get started. You don't have to pay for it all for them. Sometimes you just want to give them a discount. Sometimes you want to go 50-50. Sometimes you want to get them to buy another product, etc. At the end
Can
of
I
the
jump
day,
in there?
Yeah, jump in here, Dave.
Josh, I got to jump in there on that because I've owned my own business my entire life. I've done network marketing. And when I say I've never had a job, I've owned some traditional business as well. And part of a business is if I have a product that is I'm going to sell for $60, I know probably people aren't going to be real happy with buying it for $60. But if I give them $20 coupon off and they're getting it for $40, they're very, very happy. I mean, I'm even one step further than you. I think people are giving away way too many Jubi bucks to people because they're trying to get. I understand they're trying to get their points. I get that. But if I'm talking to somebody and I'm saying, look, you want the skincare line, it's going to be about 120 bucks, and then I see their face kind of, their jaw drops, and they're like, oh man, I can't afford that. Well, I'll tell you what, how about if I give you 30 bucks towards it? Would you, could you afford that? I mean, folks, we don't have to give, how's that saying go to, we don't have to give away the farm. We can sit there and play a little bit of game. Now, if it's my mom, and actually my mom made a purchase, so that was cool. I think I gave my mom 70 Jubi bucks, and she made a purchase of $109, which surprised the heck out of me because I only expected her to make a $70 Jubi bucks purchase. Because quite frankly, when I did that, I was still in the mindset of building my points. So I gave her 70 Jubi bucks. Then she came back. She goes, "Oh, I added this to it." I was like, "What was your final thing?" And she goes, "Well, I spent 109 plus shipping, so I had $39 that went towards my CV, which totally." I wasn't even expecting that. So I just think that you're being really gracious with your examples right now, because quite frankly, I think that if we're out there building our business and really looking to put Jubi forth first and foremost and build our company and build a profitable company, we gotta play a little game there. We gotta say, hey, if you want the energy for a month's supply is $149, how about I give you 50 Jubi bucks for it? You're still at $149. Josh, do you know at $149 our energy product is $3.10 a piece, which is already cheaper than anything you're gonna find at Walmart. Energy, 500 energy is about $3 a piece if you buy a case of it. Ours is $3.10, same price. If I give that guy $50 off on that, now he's getting it for like $2 a piece. Why would anyone ever question that? That's like the best deal you're ever going to get. Anyway, I just want to kind of add that in because I think you're being very gracious in the way you're explaining this, but I think the fact of the matter is if somebody wants 5-hour energy, they're paying a lot of money for that. And if I can give them 48 bottles of our energy drink for $2 a piece, that's an amazing deal. And we would give them $50 off. We would still get 100 CV in that example, Josh. I'll turn it back over to you,
Now,
sir.
let me tell you let me tell you a story here. Let me tell you a story. What a lot of people probably don't realize is like um, exactly where we have really gone as a company. We've gone pretty deep. I have, as the president of the company, I have hired an independent product consultant. Now, this gentleman advises me in all kinds of things that I'm just not qualified to know on my own. Somebody asked me the other day, what is the correct pronunciation of L-arginine in our cardio product? I don't have any idea how to correctly pronounce L-arginine. I don't even know how to say that word. Okay. And then somebody asked me a question, well, why are we using L-arginine instead of L-acetylene or whatever it is? I don't know these things. So one of the things that I did early on was I hired an independent product consultant. This gentleman is extremely well educated, and he advises me on a lot of these types of questions that I'm just not, I don't, I'm not qualified to answer. And this gentleman has been building weight loss programs and fat burning programs for bodybuilders for 20 years. And he's one of the most respected people in his niche. He has so many champions that have come to him for counsel and advice. And so he's this really smart guy. And I'll be honest with you, Dave. When we made the energy drink, here's what I said. I said, look, we got to have a great tasting product, okay? And it's got to be healthy, but it's got to be a great tasting product. It's got to give people real energy and mental alertness and focus without having them crash out or get caffeine jitters. That's what I said, because sometimes the doctors and the scientists, they come up with crazy cool stuff, but it doesn't work day to day. Day to day, what really matters is that, hey, I'm going to be drinking water or coffee or something anyway. Why not make me a product that's going to taste great? Okay, I really need a great tasting product. I need something that's not going to let me crash. I need something that's not going to give me the caffeine jitters, but something that's going to give me additional mental energy and alertness. So, we made the product. We had some of the world's best formulators work on it, scientists, all kinds of cool stuff. We got the product made. Now, Dave, I've been a little bit nervous to let my product guy, my product consultant that I work with, who is, he counsels with bodybuilders and stuff who have like no fat on their body. I mean, he's like an absolute health guru. This is the best way to explain it. And so and so I was a little bit nervous about the energy drink because, the energy drink it's supposed to give us a boost during the day. It's probably not, the most healthy ideology in the world is kind of what I was thinking in the back of my mind. So I sent him a bunch of the products and we were kind of going through things. And I didn't mean to send him the Jubi Max Energy. I didn't. And so he sent me an email and we were talking on the phone, and he's brought it up about 10 times now. He's like, you know what? He said, I love the Jubi Max Energy. I love the Jubi Max Energy. And I didn't understand what he was saying at first, Dave, but he kept saying, something to the effect of, we should maybe we should sample this more. And finally I get it. I need to send him some more Jubi Max Energy because he loves the product. In fact, he wants to work on, some of the marketing information that we're going to be doing on the Jubi Max Energy product. Why? Because it's just such a phenomenal product. And you're absolutely right, Dave. When people get, and here's my point, folks, when you let people work on using the product, here's what's going to happen. When they use the product, they're going to love the product. If you've educated them correctly, if you've built a relationship with them, not everybody, of course, but a percentage of the people are going to love the products. They're going to want to use the products over and over. I want to make sure I answer one of Dusty's questions here. And can I advertise that technique of sharing the price to get CV customers? Absolutely, Dusty. Absolutely. And Dusty, look, you're a valued founding member here, Dusty, and we definitely appreciate you. And we're going to work hard to continue to give you all the support that you need, Dusty. So.
I have
Yeah,
a few
go ahead,
things
go
here
ahead,
too.
go ahead. Yep.
First of all, can I have that? You're the guy, the formulator. Can I have his email? I've got some Juby bucks I want to send him.
Yeah.
That's first of all.
I got you.
But folks, here is my biggest push, and Josh knows I've been pushing and pushing and pushing for this. And I really want to share why we're doing these business builder calls. One, we absolutely need them, and we were absolutely planning on doing them. But Josh and I have had a conversation like we just had. Josh, how many times have we sat for the last hour? I mean, we never have an hour conversation because you're always so busy. But for the last hour, I've sat and listened to you talk about your vision. I listened to you talk kind of about your plan and where you see Jubi going and kind of where we should be. And for the last 2 months, 3 months now maybe, you and I have had these conversations. You know, we probably talk once a day, you know, at least 5 days a week, I would say. So we have, you know, they're not nearly this long, but 15 minutes here and there. And when I tell people on my team, I say, I'm sold out to this company, and I'm sold out to Jay Joshua. And it doesn't matter to me what he's doing with the comp plan or where he's going with this, because I know at the end of the day he's going to make the right decisions. But no one on my team could understand that, and that's why I kept pushing Josh. We got to start these business builder calls. I want everyone else out there to hear you and your vision like I get to hear you every day. And folks, I hope that everyone that's on this call, I know you've heard him present many, many times, and I know we've had the Monday night update calls, but this is kind of a little bit different format. And I hope everyone out there really feels his passion, really feels his intelligence and his vision and where he's heading with this. And I got to tell you, Josh, I'm a little embarrassed right now because I'm looking, and I think this is probably, I know of all the Saturday calls I've been on, this is the most attendees we've had on any Saturday call. So hopefully it's because it's the Daily Business Builder, and as we start building this. But I got to tell you, Josh, I only have a few people on my team on this call. I'm very embarrassed that I didn't promote this more. And I was thinking as you were talking this whole time that one of my secrets to success over the last 25 years of really making money in this industry is my ability to promote to my team. And quite frankly, Josh, I did not promote this call nearly as much as I should have, and I'm really kicking myself right now because I'm thinking of all the people on my team. You know, as you were talking, I'm like, gosh, I wish Sam was on this call. He needed to hear that. And then you said something else. I was like, man, Jeff needed to hear that. Then you said something else. And at the end of the day, I should have had 100 people or at least 100 people. I mean, I should have had probably 1,000 people on this call. So I'm going to throw out a challenge to everybody. And the one thing that I think from just this call and then from what we've been doing on the different webinars with the opportunity, when we do the opportunity presentation, is I think the one skill set that every single person on this call, all of us need to learn and get really good at, Josh, is the ability to promote and the ability to invite. What you've done, which is amazing, the first thing you've done is you've taken away the element that we all face, and that is get in network marketing. Okay, you have to go show this to your friends. Most of us get stage fright, and right away, we're not going to show it to our friends. I don't care how much you convince 90% of the people on my team are not ever going to do a presentation. I can't twist their arm. I can't pay them enough. I could pay them $1 million tomorrow. They're not going to present to their friends, family, or anyone. But what's unique about Jubi, and there's been a few other companies over the years that have started to kind of adopt this, is we don't have to present. All we have to do is get good at inviting. And as long as we invite, and by the way, Josh, if we could do the next business build on inviting, I would love that because that's one of my favorite topics, and I'd love to train on that. But all we have to do, folks, is get good at inviting to the opportunity and let Jay Joshua and T. Lamont explain the program. We don't have to do that. We just have to invite them there and let those guys do the heavy lifting. But now, the thing that JubiMax has with the Daily Business Builder call that I've never seen any other company have is the second element. A few companies have the ability to invite to webinars to get the business plan, but nobody else, and maybe there's one or two out there that I'm missing, but I've never really seen another company that also has the ability to train our team. Because folks, I usually get involved with a network marketing company. I spend 4, 5, 6 months building my team. I get 5,000, 6,000 people on my team, and quite frankly, I'm working 40, 50 hours a week training my team because I'm getting phone calls till 3 in the morning. And starting at 7, I had my first phone call at 7 o'clock this morning, and all day long, people asking questions, needing help, and wanting training. And now Josh is giving us a platform where all we have to do is get good at inviting and invite people to the Daily Business Builder, and Josh is going to train them for us. Are you kidding me? So I want to just finish this little thought with this. We had a really good showing for this webinar today, but you know, Josh, I know we have room for 999 people on this webinar, and I envision that this Daily Business Builder call within the next 3 or 4 weeks will be standing room only, where we'll literally have to start the call off and have people three-waying their friends on because the call will be filled and you will not be able to get on the webinar, and the only way to get your team on will be to three-way them onto the webinar. And you'll have to log into this 15 minutes early, and if you're not here 15 minutes early, you're not getting on. And I think that's going to happen because what you just shared today, I know it was just the beginning. I know it was just a little bit, but that's what my team needs, because everything that you just talked about is all the questions I've been getting every single day. So just kind of some thoughts as I was listening to you talk, and I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you, sir.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Dave, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I didn't go crazy into a 2-hour webinar here today, and I'll
All
tell you
right,
why.
sounds good.
Because I do that. I've got so much to share, but it's too much to absorb at once. So right at about an hour, people kind of lose. In fact, some could argue it's about 45 minutes. People kind of lose their focus, and
Sure.
it's just not quite as effective. So here's what I want to do. I want to close out today's call, and I want to do that, and I just want to mention a couple of quick things, and then I want to keep everybody nice and fresh so they can go out and be fired up and ready for our next Daily Builder call, and not be afraid it's going to be a 2-hour call. But real quick, folks, Monday night we have a really exciting company update call. I'm so excited to share with all of you exactly the new Fast Start bonus program that we've got coming out, where you can actually go out literally as you're building a team, earn $1,000 commissions over and over, $10,000 commissions over and over. You can actually go out and do that retailing as well. And really, really exciting what we've put together to make sure that everyone is rewarded for customer acquisition, to make sure that everyone is rewarded for team building, to make sure that we've got something for the brand new person, the middle level person, the builder, if you will, as well as that big organizational leader who is looking at infinity bonuses and things like that. So at the end of the day, whether you're brand new just getting started, or maybe you've been in the industry for a long time and you've never really had that home run hit, or never really be able to get on base, well, let me tell you, we've got the program for you. Maybe you're kind of an intermediate network marketer or marketer out there, and you've got some skill, you've made some money, but you just want to have a company that's going to reward you more fairly for what you do. Well, we've got that. We call that the builder. And so if you're a builder out there, we've got the right program for you. And if you're a leader, if you're an organizational leader out there, somebody who's going to bring thousands or even tens of thousands of customers and team members to the table, we've got the right program for you as well. So bottom line is, don't miss that Monday night company update call. I'm really, really excited to have the opportunity to share that with each and every one of you. And Dave, I'm going to go ahead and close out this webinar. I want to do it with just a quick kind of a final thought here, because this week has been one of the most energy-consuming weeks that I've ever had. Folks, we knew several weeks ago that we, based on the actions of another company really bringing this compensation methodology to light, we knew that we were going to have a lot of work to do to make sure that we were a very compliant company. And we wanted to do that to protect all of you. And over the last many, many weeks, we've spent untold amount of monies, and as I said, 80% of the world's top MLM attorneys are actually on retainer with us, and we've been advised so well now. We know exactly what we need to do and where we need to head. And the changes that some people refer to, really what I call the enforcement of our current comp plan, but either way, the things that we announced on Tuesday night were not easy. There were a lot of you that did not yet first understand. There were many people who felt that that this was going to be too difficult to overcome. And I want everyone to understand one lesson that I've learned in life. You see, most companies, and we know this is true from real life example, would just hang a sign that says "you're fired, go away." Most people would quit when the going gets tough. But that's not what we chose to do. And I don't illustrate this to pound our drum, but I illustrate this to encourage you, to inspire you to greater heights. If you're at a place with your business where you say, doggone it, man, it just seems like I've got to walk up a giant hill to understand, how do I get the CV? How do I get this? How do I do this? I hear them talking about how easy it is, but that's not the experience that I'm getting. It takes time to be on the calls. It takes effort and energy to be able to do this, and it's going to take me a little bit more to get my CV or to get my quality score up. I just want you to remember something, that the journey is headed to a destination. And for us as a company, the destination is your success and ours. And so for me, these past few weeks and on Tuesday night, when I knew that I would have to wake up and I would have to bear the brunt of the storm, and I knew that I would have to stand tall, stand strong, keep a smile on my face, and keep all of us pointed in the right direction, I knew that the journey was about to take a turn for toughness. This week was not easy, folks. Make no mistake about it. This will not go down as the greatest, happiest, most enjoyable week of my life. Okay? And for all of those of you that have supported me, I am eternally grateful. I am very, very grateful. To those of you who started out with a negative paradigm and were patient enough to work with me and work with our team, and we could help you kind of see the vision of where we're going, I'm eternally grateful. For those of you that are still frustrated, I actually hope that you'll continue to be patient so we can continue to share with you how this is the best path, not only for everyone, but especially where it's the best path for you. So this was not an easy week, but I embraced the challenge this week because this journey is on the road to a destination. And that destination for me is a company that all of you can be proud of, proud to be a part of, and a company that offers all of you longevity and the opportunity to succeed. Now, I want you to apply that same thing. If I've done it, you can do it. For your business, you've got to figure out CV, you've got to figure out quality score, there's new things to learn, you've got all kinds of, things that take up your time, and it maybe isn't easy, and maybe there's times when your journey is taking you on a curve and it's a little bit tough or it's a lot tough, but I want you to remember that your journey is taking you on a destination. As humans, we crave many things. We talk about financial independence, and that's part of it, but we also talk about time freedom, and we also talk about personal growth. And the reality of it is, for those of you who want to achieve the milestone of being able to say, you know what, I finally figured out that whole marketing thing. I finally got marketing under control. I got a customer. I did this. For those of you who sometimes in life just need to have a metric or a milestone, sometimes you just need a win. That's really what it comes down to. Sometimes you just need to be able to say, I did it. I earned it. And for those of you that are in that situation, let me tell you, however tough your journey is right now, it is absolutely worth it when you achieve that destination, when you achieve those milestones along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, through thick and thin, for better or for worse, we take a journey as entrepreneurs towards excellence. It is not just the money that I seek. It is not the time freedom that I seek, because I certainly have had neither this week, I can assure you. But what I take from this week, and the reason why I will sleep like a baby tonight, is because this week I achieved my ultimate goal. I achieved excellence. I persevered through things that were not easy, and I came out on the other end knowing that I did what was right, and that we have all as a team persevered in the pursuit of excellence. At the end of the day, there are those who will take the journey and they will win. And there are those who will complain the journey was too hard and they will drop off and they will never find the happiness that they seek in life. So I challenge all of you, however difficult your personal journey may be in business, personally, with your entrepreneurial activities, with family, I encourage all of you to stand tall, to brave through, difficult winds, cold storms, tough times, and know that the destinations, the milestones along the way are absolutely worth it. And just know that on the pursuit of excellence, there is no failure. There is no stopping. There is only success. With that said, I'm going to close out today's call. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate every one of you. I want to thank every one of you for being a part of my life. I'll see each and every one of you at the top, on the inside, and on the beaches of the world. Bye for now, everyone.
Thanks, Joshua.
So that's it for now. If you have any questions, please get back to the person that shared this video with you, or you can send a support ticket from your JubiRev back office. Thank you. We look forward to hearing of your success.